All right, Shalom boys here. Welcome to the Covenant. Well, out. It's 1 o'clock, and let's spend some time with the family. We gotta do some shopping, pick up some stuff. But what I wanted to do was address a statement that Rufus has continuously made regarding me and my issue with him. And he stated it over and over again, but see, people that don't understand witchcraft, high-level witchcraft that he is performing when he makes these statements, the high level of manipulation that he's making, he knows, but he knows that you don't know. So therefore, he makes these statements. And the whole goal is to play on your ignorance. But me, being well-versed in the art of spiritual warfare, which has been taught by Pastor Dow, he knows, and I know. And so the question is that he makes is, why didn't I say anything against him when any incident happened? Why is it that I came out afterwards? And the answer is quite simple. Again, he knows this. What typically happens when someone speaks against the ministry or one of Pastor Dow's elders? He comes out fiercely and he defends his people, as anybody should. If you're speaking against him, you speak against them all. So Pastor Dow's mentality is that if you speak against one of us, you speak against us all. And he is going to fiercely defend his people. We've seen this time and time again, as he should. It's his people. Regardless if he knows that they're right or they're wrong, or he is not aware of the situation, on the surface, he is going to defend his people. Now, me knowing this back then, which is quite natural that Pastor Dow does, regardless how wrong I felt Rufus was, it would have been a pointless endeavor to get up on social media and begin to do all these videos talking about Rufus, because I know, Pastor Dow knows, I know I can't beat Pastor Dow spiritually. I cannot beat Pastor Dow economically, and I sure can't whip Pastor Dow's ass. So therefore, what do you do in that situation? Because to speak against Rufus at that time is to speak against Pastor Dow. And I've seen the results of people that speak against Pastor Dow. You know, there's this one story, and these stories that he tells on sermons are there for your edification. They're there for your exhortation. They're there for your understanding, to bring you to the knowledge of the truth and how things go. He always speaks about this Bishop Mulberry situation, where Bishop Mulberry, don't get me wrong, I'm sorry, it's either Bishop Mulberry or somebody, one of the elders, spoke against Pastor Dow. What did he do? He shut his mouth. He shut his mouth and he gave it time, because he knew that that would not be spiritually sound, nor even appropriate. I remember that scenario. And as well, there's another situation where some dude thought he was going to speak against Pastor Dow, and he got beat to a bloody pulp. He told these stories. Soon afterwards, he got beat to a bloody pulp. Somebody beat him with a wrench. I said, nah, man, I ain't dealing with that situation. The idea is that sometimes it's best just to shut your mouth and to let things take its course. So that's why I never spoke against Rufus Caldwell. That's why I never said anything against Rufus Caldwell, even though I wanted to, even though every fiber in my being wanted to. I knew when the Holy Spirit said, shut your mouth. Through the counsel that I got at the time, leave it alone, focus on the work, focus on building your homestead, focus on building the business, focus on doing those things, focus on taking that wisdom that's being given and apply it to your life. And I'm telling you, it's paid off perfectly. It is paid off perfectly. It is paid off so wonderfully. I do so thank the Father for giving me that wisdom and giving me that unction to shut my mouth and not say anything, because Rufus Caldwell was covered spiritually under the umbrella of Straightway and Pastor Down. But the second he wasn't covered spiritually, boom, came after him, because he lost his spiritual covering. I'm trying to teach y'all something. He lost it. The second he started coming in against and doing the same thing that others have done, that he himself has defended, because Rufus has always been Pastor Dow's number one. Somebody come up against Pastor Dow or the ministry, Rufus, first one right there, defending. First one right there, defending. But he himself could not apply this very same wisdom that I applied in my life. And making sure, listen here, sometimes you just got to shut your mouth. You got to shut your mouth. Even with the art of war, what does it say if you can't beat somebody? What does it say? You seek terms of condition, terms of peace. You don't go up against somebody that can beat you in every way, shape, or form. You don't do that. That's stupid. Sometimes you got to shut your mouth and let things play out. It took 7 years, 8 years for this thing to play out. And now Rufus Caldwell is dealing with, and he's going to experience the wrath of not being spiritually covered, because he lost his spiritual hedge of protection. He no longer has it. And so therefore he's open. Now he's been turned over to Satan, and he's going to deal with the repercussions, i.e. broke, destitute. You got to understand, a person that's financially stable don't need to be doing no GoFundMe. Now, I can understand somebody, you know what I'm saying, people do GoFundMe for legitimate issues, medical issues, issues associated with, you know what I'm saying, a hurricane, or they lost their house. I would do a GoFundMe if something like that happened. But outside of that, if you can't handle it, see, he can't handle his own house, so therefore he's unfit to lead the house of Yah, because he can't maintain his own home. How you gonna maintain a home with 4 wives, children, and you working a forklift job? See, he knows these things about spiritual warfare. He lost his hedge of protection. I'll be damned if I get up, even how angry I may be at somebody, and speak out against them, because I understand the spiritual order of things. So that's the answer. That's the reason why over the past 7-8 years, I never made a video. I never spoke out against Rufus Caldwell, because he was under the spiritual hedge of protection of Straightway Truth and Pastor Down. Now, does this make any sense spiritually? Does it for the spiritual people that understand the spiritual warfare? They understand it quite well. But people that's carnal, people that don't understand it, this is the manipulation that Rufus Caldwell uses to deceive the hearts of the simple. And to get them to say, oh, yeah, if he would have said something, well, why didn't he say something, this and the third, Rufus, well, why he didn't say that, Fool! Stupid. Ignorant. Dumb. That's what he playing you for. So to answer your question, that is why I shut my mouth. But now he's under no spiritual hedge of protection, man. You know, I go at them hard with truth. Oh yeah, and look at him now. A mess.